Hey, g'day guys, it's Crypto Companion here. We're back today to have a look at the basics, go back to the very beginning, have a look at ROI DAPPS and try and understand how they work. There's a lot of FUD and a lot of misinformation out there that goes on, and so with the evolution of the DAPPS that have occurred and how they've made it so much more complicated, it's like going out and getting a phone plan and having so many different variations from a provider. So we'll try and simplify it a little bit and give you the information hopefully that you need, and you can take away and make your own decisions from there. So let's get right into it, shall we? So we've got our 4 investors on the top left. We've got investor A, B, C, D. Now we're looking at tokens. We're not going to go by dollar value here. We're just going to go by tokens. It's simple. So each one is going to invest 5 tokens into this awesome DApp that they found. Okay, so they dropped their 5 tokens in. So in total, 20 tokens have been invested into this DApp. And now these tokens get put into like a safe or a pot of gold. It's called a liquidity pool. Now that money that's put in there is what pays you, what pays the investor based on dividends. Okay? It's got to pay you the original investment and profit. Yes, your original investment, once you put the money in, is no longer accessible. The only way to get it out is through the dividends of the project. But there's some things that happen along the way that reduce the amount of money that's in the liquidity pool. And one of them is the taxes when you put the money into the app. These taxes are commonly referred to as a deposit fee or a contract owner's fee. And for the purpose of this example, we've chosen 10%. Now 10% is actually quite a common amount of tax that people ask for with their DAPPS. So when you go and deposit your money into the app, 10% of that money gets taken out and it gets given to the developer. Alright, so automatically the money that you guys invested has dropped down to 90% in the liquidity pool. To add to this, there's also referral bonuses. So let's assume that investor A told the other 3 investors, hey, I've seen a great DApp, guys get involved, click on my link, put some money in. When they put money in, investor A gets a bonus for bringing business to the app. In this situation, we've chosen 10%. So that's reduced the amount of money in the liquidity pool again. So what has originally had 20 tokens in it has now dropped down to 16.5 tokens. Remembering, that is what's going to pay these guys. Now contracts vary, and this screen here is just explaining that even if investor A didn't refer investor B, C or D, there was no referrals, some contracts have set up that someone will get a referral bonus. And if you didn't get referred by anyone, then that referral bonus will go straight to the developer, regardless. So you still end up with the same situation of the liquidity pool being reduced. Remembering that is the money that's going to pay you guys back. So now we're going to have a look at the different types of projects that are out there, and we've broken it down into the 2 main types. We've got a high risk, high yield, short-term return on investment, ROI, and then we've got the miners, which are meant to offer a passive ROI. So the short-term ROIs come in often a 6-plan contract approach, and they're broken down into unlocked and locked, and generally they have 3 time periods. The time periods for most are around the 14, 21, 28. Now all this information can vary slightly. Don't get caught up in that. Just understand the very basics behind it. Your unlock plan. Your unlock plans, you can access the money as it grows. You can withdraw it at any time. But you have generally a lower return on investment. Okay? Your locked plans, you can't touch until that time period has been completed, whether it be 14 days, 21 or 28 days, whatever the plan has in there. But the thing with the locked plans, they offer huge return on investments because your money is compounded. That is, Every day you earn money, it gets added to your initial investment, and then you earn money the next day on both what you earned the day before and your initial investment. So when you look at your 28 days in a locked plan period, you got massive return on investment of 528%. I've even seen ones that offer 2000%. It's just a FOMO approach, fear of missing out, that, whoa, if I put $100 in this, I'm going to get $528 back. That is flipping huge. That will make a huge difference. And what if I put $1,000 in? Mate, I get back $5,280. That's too good to pass up. But you got to remember that the liquidity pool is already reduced less than what you guys invested. People have already taken money out of it. So it's strongly suggested, and people have learnt over time, that you don't go in for the long-term contracts and you don't go in for the locked contracts. It's pretty much a go-to that you only go for the unlocked contract and 14 days or the minimum period of time where possible. Now, this does not guarantee that you're going to get your money back. Okay, when you do withdraw, there are often taxes, withdrawal fees, but on a good note, those withdrawal fees generally go back into the liquidity pool. You just need to be aware of that, because you will lose a percentage before it goes into your actual wallet, your pocket. Right? And the results of this DAP is often people lose out. So we look down the bottom left, you've got Investor A. Now Investor A, he's lucky. He probably hit the 14-day plan unlocked, and he kept taking his money out. He got his original investment and his profit. Investor B, he might have been a bit slack. He's still probably stuck with the 14-day, but he didn't keep on top of his investments, and he just got his money out. Investor C may have gone for a 21-day unlocked plan. So he took some money out, but unfortunately his return on investment was a lot less per day, and the actual investment didn't last the full 21 days. It might have dried up. There might have been no money left in the liquidity pool for him to take anymore. Investor D, the poor bastard, unfortunately Investor D, he looked at that 528% and he just thought, shit, how can I not? So he put all his eggs into that basket. He went for the 28-day locked plan, and unfortunately all the money in the liquidity pool had dried up, so he lost all his money. And this is what you'll find when you talk to people about these DAPs. A lot of people lose their money. Moving on to the minor DAPs, the high risk minor, works on a passive return on investment. Now these guys, they use the power of compounding. So I'm not sure if you're aware of compounding, but for example, if you jump onto Google and look up compound calculator, you stick $1 in there, and if something gives you a return of 8% per day, like baked beans does, up to, that $1 compounded daily and then weekly, eventually by October this year, you'll end up with over $1 million in the balance. I kid you not, that's what you can earn based on compounding. That is the power of compounding. So when we go to the minor apps, baked beans is one of the most well known. It's not the original, but it is one of the most well known. The idea is that the investor comes along and puts money in based on the native token. In this case, it's BNB. Now, what they strongly requested the community is to only take money out once a week. So 6 days out of the week, you come in every day and you compound that money. So you increase your holdings, your initial investment increases. And then on the 7th day, for that 1 day of earnings, you take out. So it keeps you interested and it keeps money gradually coming in. It slows the whole process down. The situation with this is, because of the compounding factor, the amount of return on investment gets greater and greater and greater. So if you look at the black bars are the money going into the contract or into the DAP, and the blue bars is the money coming out of the contract. So initially you start off with a lot of interest and people getting on board, and more people putting money into the contract, into the investment. But then gradually the amount that people are earning gets greater and greater and greater, that it outweighs how much money is going in. So more money goes out of the contract that goes in. it's no different than the high yield short-term return on investments. The money the investors put into the DApp is the money that you are paid from. Okay? There is no magic money tree out there that, duplicates the money to be able to pay everyone back. So eventually, if there's no more money coming into the liquidity pool, into the miner, into the high-risk short-term DApp, eventually that liquidity pool gets drained out. The only way to sustain these moving forward is to have multiple ongoing income streams. So for example, your original investors come along, they put their money in, and then they want to get their money back and they want to get profit. There's not enough money in there just from the original investors. So they have to come up with things like NFT sales. I know that TURD BURGLAR is currently looking to do this, and the profits from the NFT sales will go straight back into the liquidity pool of the TURD BURGLAR miner. And so that will keep it topped up so that all the investors can hopefully get their money back and profit back and keep the whole DApp going for as long as possible. Other avenues might be advertising, lotteries, etc. Now it can't be another return on investment idea where people put money in and then they make more money back. That's not how you keep a sustainable return on investment. It needs to be a form of income stream, a revenue stream, where people buy something but don't get anything back for it other than maybe advertising, NFT, etc. Otherwise, they're expecting more money to go out. So guys, I want to leave you with a short description from investopedia.com, and it's up to you what you take away from this. But the word Ponzi is often thrown around, and they used it they definitely associated it with the ROI DAPPS, and the miners not so much, because the miners last for longer. But the Ponzi scheme is an investment scheme which generates returns for early investors with money taken from later investors, similar to a pyramid scheme. So what I'm asking is that the most important thing you take out of this is when you go and review these different DAPPs, whether it be a short-term return on investment DApp or a miner DApp, yes, people can make money, people can make a lot of money on these things, but more than not, a lot of people lose money. Just remember, is there money, other money coming into this DApp that pays you, the investor, back your initial investment and profit? If there isn't other streams of revenue, then it is based on the last person who pays the first person. It is based on what you guys as investors put in is the only money that pays you guys out. So look, I hope you like this. This was just a short, quick rundown of understanding return on investment DAPPs, and there's a myriad of different types, different structures and modified contracts and all sorts of things. If you liked it, please click the like button, click the subscribe. It doesn't take any time and it doesn't cost you any money, but it helps me understand that this content that I've provided you is useful, and that I'll keep doing more of them. I definitely want to do one coming up which will relate to what to look for scam sites. For example, audits. A lot of people have been caught out with no audits being done, and yet they deposit their money and then suddenly there's rug pulls. So guys, I hope you have a fantastic day. Drop me a like please, and by all means have a look at the investments that I've got in the information. There is referral links for 2 of them. I'm in Baked Beans and I'm in TURD BURGLAR. That one, although it's got a small quantity, the slower it grows the better, as long as it's constantly growing. You don't want something to take off massively, because then there's no further investors to maintain that. And Sphere Finance. Now if you're worried about the money side of things, or where the token's gone up in value, dropped in value, that's not what it's about. You're looking at the wrong thing, and we'll look at that in the future as well. Guys, have a great day. Cheers.